DeWaal here, and this is Bridging the Week for June 22nd to 26th, and today is June 29th, 2015. Good morning. Material developments in the financial services industry worldwide appeared to take a pause last week, although regulators in the United Kingdom implemented tougher new rules on senior bankers' deferred compensations and potential clawbacks. In addition, two FINRA actions reminded brokers of the hazards of permitting third-party wire transfers, while two ICE futures exchanges updated their block trade guidance. We don't have too much to cover this week, but let's get going anyway. The United Kingdom Prudential Regulation Authority and Financial Conduct Authority have adopted new rules regarding the remuneration of senior managers at UK banking institutions. These rules address the potential clawback of paid variable compensation and deferral of unpaid variable compensation, meaning bonuses, for performance periods beginning January 1st of next year. The goal, claims the regulators, is to better align risk and individual reward in the banking sector and to encourage more effective risk management. Under the new rules, unpaid variable compensation will now be paid over 7 years for senior managers, 5 years for risk managers, and 3 to 5 years for material risk takers, for example, traders, while a clawback of variable compensation for misconduct may occur up to 10 years after payment for senior managers. Wow. Two broker-dealers were fined a total of $950,000 by the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority for not adequately monitoring the handling of wire transfers from customer accounts to third parties. In connection with one broker-dealer, Scottrade Inc., FINRA charged that from October 2011 to October 2013, the firm failed to have any procedures that required customer confirmations for third-party wire transfers of less than $200,000 and did not obtain customer approval through a supervisor who was not a producing manager as required, where there were third-party transfers between $200,000 and $500,000. During the relevant time, the firm processed over 17,000 third-party wire transfers involving more than $880 million. Scottrade settled its FINRA discipline action without admitting or denying any findings by a payment of a $300,000 U.S. fine. Both ICE Futures US and ICE Futures Europe have updated their policies regarding block trades. In general, block trades are permitted off-exchange transactions in the United States between eligible contract participants at specified times involving certain prescribed minimum quantities of designated futures and option contracts. Block trades of the two ICE Futures exchanges must be executed at prices that are fair and reasonable at the time, be reported accurately within prescribed time frames, and comply with certain record preparation and retention requirements. For example, all order tickets must reflect the transaction may be executed as a block trade. Block trades may be executed between accounts of affiliated persons provided the price is a fair and reasonable market price. Each party has a separate and independent legal business purpose for entering into the trade, and each party's decision to enter into a block trade was made by a separate and independent person. There are strict requirements for revealing certain customer information in connection with block trades. Front-running or pre-positioning in connection with block trades is not permitted. The National Futures Association settled charges brought in June 2014 against the Barbara Shop, a commodity trading advisor, for materially misreporting and overstating assets under management, and against the Barbara Shop and Robert Barbara, the sole owner and president, for failing to supervise the Barbara Shop's activities. I love that name. NFA also settled charges against the Barbara Shop for not maintaining required records of bunched orders, not having adequate bunched orders office procedures, and not adequately reviewing the Barbara Shop's bunch orders, procedures, and customer accounts on a quarterly basis as mandated by NFA requirements. The Barber Shop and Mr. Barber resolved this matter by paying a total fine of $50,000, for which they are jointly responsible, and agreeing to certain registration restrictions going forward. Commissioner Sharon Bowen of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission again called for finalizing rules on the governance of U.S. designated contract markets, swap execution facilities, and designated clearing organizations, derivatives clearing organizations proposed by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission in October 2010. Among other things, Ms. Bowen advocated not only having qualitative standards regarding the number of board directives that must be public directors, meaning the lesser of at least 35% or 2 persons, quote, but a holistic review of the board's independence at regular intervals, end of quote. Ms. Bowen also suggested that governance rules for derivative clearing, for designated contract markets, SEFs, and derivative clearing organizations in the U.S. might borrow from regulations governing clearinghouses under the European Markets Infrastructure Regulation. Commissioner Bowen issued her views before the quadrilateral meeting of the European Central Bank on June 24th. And finally, the Monetary Authority of Singapore has reprimanded the Singapore Exchange over market outages on November 5th and December 3rd last year. On November 5th, SGX sustained a multiple-hour trading suspension due to a power supply problem during the afternoon, while on December 3rd, a software problem caused a delayed market open. According to MAS, although, quote, SGX met its primary obligation as an exchange to maintain fair, orderly, and transparent markets, it has fallen below service standards on both incidents, end of quote. In connection with the November 5th incident, MAS found that SGX was not able to recover some of its critical systems within a 4-hour window mandated by MAS because SGX's monitoring systems, quote, were not able to identify problems quickly in order for prompt remedial action to be taken. In connection with the December 3rd event, the time taken to escalate and troubleshoot the errors fell short of expectations, end of quote, said MAS. Well, that's it for this week's Bridging the Week. As always, there's more information in each article and more articles on the article version of Bridging the Week on the website. Check it out. Until next week, or maybe the week after because it is the July 4th weekend, this is Gary DeWaal. Have a great week or 2 weeks, and ciao.